afterlife is perhaps man's greatest mystery.
It's not going to be any fun for some time yet.
But for Delbert of Planup, it's no mystery at all. A fourth-generation Ripley County farmer, Delbert has been locating underground water for 50 years.
That was the first person buried in the...
Finding human remains entered his repertoire just a decade ago.
What I usually tell people, I just do it. I don't explain it because I can't. There has to be a chemical or some relationship between the person and the ground or whatever it is to make it work. But it doesn't work for everybody, and you don't know why. So it's open to a lot of skepticism.
Some of their sisters, what lot number they're on at the cemetery, too.
He and his wife Dorothy have made it their cause, tracking and recording names, dates, and personal information for everyone buried at St. John's Lutheran Cemetery in Napoleon.
And got interested in it when the Historical Society was wanting to get records of the cemeteries in Jackson Township. And so with the help of the lady down there, and we worked together at it, and we've been working at it for several years, but I think we've about got it now.
Copper wire is what I use to determine where the grave is and the sex of the person who is buried there. If my rod goes up and down like this, it's determined it's a female, and if the wire goes sideways like this, it will mean it's a male. What we're going to do, we're going up here where we know there's some people buried, and we're going to determine the sex of the two that's buried there that's not marked. And if we do that, that will be the proof of the pudding. We know there's 4 people buried here, and we know who the 2 in the middle are, that the father and the mother, the grandfather and grandmother, and we know that there was another body buried here, which would either be the grandfather or the grandmother. We do not know for sure whether it was a male or female until we do this, and this determines that. And so if any of the children or grandchildren or anything want to know which is which, this will determine that. My wire starts going sideways like that, and that tells us that that is a male being buried there.
Skeptics may dismiss Delbert's talent as hocus pocus, but to him, it's a science.
It sounds like it borders on witchcraft, which it may do. Witchcraft is something you really can't explain. It's a thing that you either can do or you can't. And I'm satisfied that I can do it, and just if I can do it to help somebody or anything like that, I will.
After they see him do it, then I think they realize that there is something to it, but until they see him do it, and it doesn't work for me. So I'm a believer because it doesn't work for me.
Preserving history for current and future generations is Delbert's ultimate goal.
What we do is end up with a bunch of records that we pass on, keep a record of for the church and also for the Historical Society at Versailles. The records that she's kept and stuff we found and verified will be on file at the Historical Society, and people that come from a distance, which is regularly, that information is all available to them. And this particular part of the cemetery here is what was called the Potter's Field. It's never been laid out in lots or numbered or anything else, and it was where the indignates or suicides, I'm told, was buried here. Now, I've come out here and checked different times, and now I do know that at some time or other there was a female buried at this particular location right here. And I may walk up a little bit further over here, and I may find somebody else, and I may not find anybody. I may not find anybody here. These records, there's nobody left to ask. The records that should have been kept are gone, and the old people are gone too, and there's nobody to ask. So with this information here, the next generation should have a lot easier access to their ancestors.